Hello and welcome to another episode of the Objection podcast, featuring myself, Birdkeeper Toby, and I am joined, of course, as always, by...
Did you forget my name again?
No, I didn't forget your name. It's a podcast, so there's two of us, and you have to do your bits.
Oh, right. And my name is Falcone HS. Or Daniel. Daniel! As Toby has said
Daniel?
once or twice.
Great, and that's it. That's it from you. No more from you for the rest of the hour and a half.
All right,
so
fine with me.
welcome to the Objection podcast. We've been pirating this week. You can talk, please do actually contribute because I'm terrified of this on my own. We've been doing pirates this week, which is our thing. But before we get into that, this is the Objection podcast. We stream it live, usually 7 p.m. BST, British Summer Time, every Wednesday. We just talk about the video games we've been playing, stuff we've been watching, the things that we're into and thinking about at the moment. You can, of course, tweet us at BirdkeeperToby, at FalconeHS, and you can watch these episodes on demand on the YouTube channel, The Objection Podcast. And you can watch the full version with the post-show and all of the pre-show and the nonsense that's not cut out. You can watch all of that if you're a Patreon to my YouTube channel. So that's nice. That's a little bit extra. That's the service announcement. Pirates. What's that about, Dan? Please talk. Please contribute. Please don't leave me for the hour. I was lying before. You can be part of this. Oh, he's gone. He's gone, and he knows I can't see his screen unless I look at the Twitch chat. He's actually left.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I'm glad you got there eventually.
Welcome back.
I was just standing in the corner of the room watching you talking about. Like, I left a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I don't know because I can't see your box unless I go to the Twitch thing, which is already behind schedule.
Well, you know what, Toby? We've gotten to that point where it's just normal for you to talk for like 5 minutes without stopping for me to chip in, and you didn't even notice I was gone. And I think we should take a hard look at something.
I wasn't going on for that long. I wasn't going on for that long.
Pirates.
So you get, yeah.
Toby, is it a pirate's life for you?
Despite current appearances, no. It is not a pirate's life for me.
Okay. Firstly, everyone, Sea of Thieves came out, a week ago? Yeah, it must have been literally 1 week ago.
Yeah, something like that.
You can currently, as of right now, you can get a free trial of the Xbox Games Pass, which lasts, I think, 14 days. Mm-hmm. It's entirely free as long as you cancel it. And with the Xbox Games Pass, you get pretty much, I think the plan is for the future, all first-party Microsoft titles. So future Halos, basically anything that's exclusive to the Xbox. So I recommend at some point that there's no reason not to get your free trial of the Xbox Game Pass, and Sea of Thieves comes free with it. So essentially, you can play this game in its entirety for free as long as you only want to play it for 14 days. And my first impression is that you probably wouldn't want to pay for this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to pay retail price for this game. It was interesting. I feel like we had a little tug of war about whether I should get the Game Pass, because obviously you've got PC. Did you just buy the game, or did you?
No, I bought the Game Pass. Of course I did.
You got the Game Pass as well. I think like we had a bit of a tug of war, because for me, it feels like, and you can cancel it, of course, at any point, like another subscription service. I'm paying £8 a month for, for games that I wouldn't really play unless I had the Game Pass.
Right.
Because I don't know that there's anything upcoming, and then you don't even keep the games; you rent them like you would like Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think your argument kind of logically wins for me. It's just a feelingsy thing.
Yeah, sure. I think the argument, I think the real conclusion I've come to is like, just buy it. Pay for it for 1 month at a time. Like, if there's a game coming out that month that you want to play, like get the pass when the game comes out. Play it. If 25 days in, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty much done with that game, cancel it. And then great, you've got pretty much the full value out of the game for the price of what? £7, is it, for the 1 month of the Game Pass? I don't know. I think potentially in the future, if they start adding loads of games to it, like yeah, if they start, like I said, all future Halo games, all future other first-party games, especially if it's cross-platform PC and Xbox like this is, I think in the future it's potentially a very, very good deal.
Well, yeah,
and they've said
I mean,
things about their plans for it. So
if I had bought Sea of Thieves as a physical disc, you know, it would have cost me what, like 40-50 pounds potentially. You know, you're doing 5-6 months of the Game Pass. Half of a year is already paid for in the fact that I got to play it. That said, and I'm thankful because I wouldn't have wanted to pay full price for this game as of my current experience.
But like, imagine if they're releasing 2 or 3 games, two or three new AAA titles a month, and they're all on Xbox Game Pass. Like, even just the ability to try them all for free. Well, not for free, but, you know, even the ability to try them all might even just end up being worth it. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential. The other thing is that there have been articles recently, something I think Phil Spencer said, one of the heads of Microsoft or Xbox or whatever. They've been saying they want to explore other platforms more, which is odd. But people, like news sites, have been getting the impression that it means potentially you could get Xbox Game Pass on PS4 in the future, which is mad. But like, if they decided to stop focusing on Xbox, then potentially that could be a thing, I guess.
What the? Oh, okay.
So on your PS4, you can buy Xbox Game Pass, and you get all the Xbox titles that are on Xbox Game Pass with it playable on your PS4. That'd be weird. I
mean, currently, the console wars is like a thing almost of the past at this point, and I think we've heard before the idea that potentially Xbox One X or whatever, it's like possibly the last one kind of thing, and that, you know, the PC is Microsoft's console, right? And if they decide to leave that market, they decide to leave that space, they still want to sell those games to console players. I guess that's a way of doing it.
Right. Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I think for quite some time it's something that Microsoft should be looking at doing, because I've always only bought Xbox for the exclusives. The PlayStation 4 is the better console. I think we've said this a lot. Then again, I used to say this about the Wii. When the Wii U came out, I used to say, you know, Nintendo make phenomenal games. Why can't they just release it on the consoles that I want to buy?
Yeah.
And I used to say that, and then they came out with the Switch, and everything changed. So,
yeah, because they came out with a console that you want to buy. I think in that period of time when you're making that statement, Nintendo had done the Wii, then the Wii U, and they were good, but they were they were kind of hit and miss for some.
The Wii U wasn't good.
And the Wii U wasn't. And then the Switch is just a win. No one's talking about the Switch like, oh, it's so gimmicky. It's just to get like grandparents playing games. People are talking about the Switch like, yeah, it's a good console. No one I've yet to hear someone talk about the Switch like it's something for kids or something for old people. They take it like it's a serious console, which is, you know, cool.
So let's talk a little bit about actually the game Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, right? Yeah.
Firstly, would you recommend people trying it for free?
Yeah, I think it's different to anything I've ever played before, for sure. It looks cool. It looks, if you like I got some Zelda the Wind Waker feels. You get that nice cell shading, you know, atmosphere and environment. And it looks like if you can get good at it, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. But certainly, I felt that we had no idea what we were doing. But worth trying, definitely worth trying. I would like to try and play some more with you before I give up on it entirely.
Spoiler alert, by the way. My tweet, and you won't believe what happened. Look, Toby and I tried Sea of Thieves today. You won't believe what happened next. Yeah, we moved to Fortnite and played that for a bit. That was what happened next.
that is what happened next. You wouldn't believe it. But we then immediately just moved over to Fortnite. We sunk a good hour and a half?
No, 3. We played it for like 3 hours.
We did not play that game for 3 hours. That time flew by.
Well, that's a positive then. I'm pretty sure hang on. We texted each other at some point when we started. Let's see, we can probably work this out.
Yeah. I guess it felt kind of weird because we so what we were doing was playing, trying to get chickens.
2.5 hours, I think. 2.5 hours.
One mission for 2.5 hours, and it was like, tutorial level mission, I assume, because we had just been dropped into the game, and we were just trying to get 2 chickens into their coops, and we wanted to take them somewhere. And my goodness, was it stressful.
Okay. So first thing that went wrong was that we were at the start island and we found the quest. You're like, great, we've got the quest. Let's get on the ship. We worked out how to sail it. That was easy enough. Actually, getting to our destination was fine. It was then that it all went wrong. We got off of the island. We're like, right, we've got to find some chickens. So we spent a while. We couldn't find any chickens. We found pigs, and that's it. And then we looked back and our ship had sunk, and that was a whole other thing. So Toby had to go get the ship, teleport back to a ship, sail back to the island. And meanwhile, I stayed on the island and I was looking for the chickens, and I found some chickens. Then the problem was I couldn't pick them up or anything.
Yeah.
So Toby caught up and he managed to find a cage on the ground. I was like, great.
There was just one of the chicken coops on the ground. And I was like, yeah, but we need 2. And so while I'm running around trying to get the chicken, you're then Googling where to get coops. And you're like, it's back on the starting island.
Yep. So we sailed back. And again, sailing from the starting island to this island probably took 10 minutes? Do you think each way?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But then the problem, we're sailing back with our 1 chicken in the coop, and then for reasons unknown, you said we must have got attacked by a kraken.
Oh yeah, we randomly sank. Yeah,
we just randomly sank.
The game made a really loud I don't know, dooming sound, and I'm up right at the top, and you're just sailing the thing or steering the, what's it called, the bow? I don't care.
I gotta take this hat off. I'm gonna keep sneezing because just dust in the hair of that. It's not nice.
And yeah, so the ship randomly capsized, and we're not entirely sure. I googled it again, found out apparently we were attacked by a kraken. I don't know. So then we had to start from scratch. We got some chicken coops. Oh no!
But we were like, yeah, we know what we're doing now. We got this.
Yeah. So we got the coops. We went to the island. What went wrong this time? Were we attacked this time? Is that what went wrong?
Yeah, no. We got our coops, and I believe we even got both of the chickens.
No, that wasn't until way later.
Oh, that wasn't until way later? Well, in that case...
we weren't able to get both chickens until we'd moved on to the red chicken and the white chicken quest.
Right,
but
okay,
first,
so we're still on the 2
First,
chickens.
we went back and tried to get 2 white chickens. Very clear distinction there. White chicken, red chickens. Anyways.
Very different.
I think the first time, we got attacked at some point.
I killed someone. No,
that's right, yeah.
They had their boats, and then they were just shooting us with pistols and stuff, and we were like, okay. So I ran on, and I managed to kill one of the pirates, and I was like, I feel good about this.
Oh, this was when we got to the island, and there was this random cannon on the island shooting at us, wasn't it?
No, that was another one on.
Are you serious?
That was another attempt on. Yeah. So we're getting attacked by these 2 pirates. I kill one, and I'm feeling really good about myself. We didn't even know that other players were in the game. We didn't know that it was online and other players were there. And we could hear them talking, but in a different language. Yeah. And we were like, parlay. they're fighting us. So I kill one of them. Then the other one kills me. Then I'm in the equivalent of what Davy Jones' locker or whatever, the Voyage of the Damned. You're still fighting the other pirate. I guess you die as well. And so we just appear with our ship, back at the starting island, I guess. Or at another island, and then we have to sail to the starting island to get the coops to come back, because we've now lost the coops. So we're going to come back to get the chickens.
And not only that, but when we were back at the starting island, we couldn't just get more coops. We had to abandon the quest, then start a new quest, and then get...
So stressful.
And then we were given some coops. And then we went back, we got some chickens, and then on our way back to where we had to take them, we got attacked again by another ship, we got sunk, we lost the chickens, basically had to start from scratch.
And I felt really good about that attempt, because we were like, okay, we've loaded the cannons, we know where they are, and I was steering the ship so we would be sideways onto their front kind of thing. But then what happened was, didn't we end up beaching onto the
yeah, there was a whole thing where we were crashed, and I had a bucket and was just trying to throw the water out of the ship, and yeah, that was the thing too.
The mechanics of the game seem really fun, but I feel like we're going to do it with other people who know what they were doing, because I felt that I had no clue what I'm doing. And also they said that the small ship was suitable for 2 people. We needed more hands on deck. It's
strange, because I literally cannot decide whether it's a great game and we just suck, or whether it's a terrible game, but just funny to play with friends. It's one of the two, and I'm not sure which one. Like,
I just don't get how the online works.
I've seen a lot of negative reviews about it, like how people have said, it's so unpolished, it's unfinished, it's only fun for a few hours, and like the act of actually like sailing and then discovering an enemy ship and like quick arm the cannons was great, but then it wasn't fun because you have to like load a cannon and it takes a few seconds, and then you aim it and then you fire it and then you have to load it again. But the ship we were fighting against was just launching cannon after cannon after cannon without stopping. It's like, what are we doing wrong?
I don't know. I maybe they're just like there's a whole meta to it. So how you fight with ships, and like they just bully newbies. But then I don't understand, because if it's online, does it just chuck you in a server with like I don't know 20 random other pirates or whatever, or 20 other ships?
From what I read, the way it works is that like when you're sailing like totally on your own, it'll like put you in a server. Like it'll just put you, depending on how many ships there are around in various servers, it'll just like the game calculates as you're going, like how many people are around. Okay, what's the correct encounter rate? Like how I read somewhere that you're supposed to be able to find other players, say once every 15 minutes, for example.
Okay.
And then,
but then those other players, I mean, based on our observations, never wanted to be like, "Hi, let's sail the seas together. Let's form a pirate fleet." They just attack you.
Don't think that's how pirates work, mate.
But we could join up and have like a little fleet and conquer the seas, But everyone, parlay. They got no interest for it.
I mean, imagine in like Fortnite or PUBG if you bumped into someone and were like, "Hey, we could run around together and kill everyone." Yeah, they just shoot you in the back the moment you turn.
I had one magical moment. I did have one magical moment recently where I shot someone. I might have said this on the last podcast. I shot someone 3 times and they were 1 shot away from death, and they turned around, they didn't have a weapon, and they dropped their bandages as like a tribute to me. And so I dropped them my med kit as just because I thought it was really cute. So they came and took the med kit, and then they like ran off into the distance. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could have teamed up with them. Maybe they wanted to maybe we could have like become friends. And it sadly didn't happen.
So they just ran off and you never saw him again?
No, I got killed like 5 minutes later. Could have done with a med kit, to be honest. But the point was, it was a magical moment.
I bet it was. So it's difficult. Like, what I did like about Sea of Thieves was, like you said, like the aesthetic, the piratey music was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very much did remind me of Pirates of the Caribbean. Like the loading sounds and everything. When you die,
the boat physics are kind of fun. The boat physics, just like the way that they sail, and then the way that they like beach onto the boat, onto the thing. And I imagine if we crashed into another boat, like it feels very kind of like, consistent and real and not too ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's kind of immersive.
Yeah, immersive. It's definitely immersive. And I maybe playing like we should play with some friends. There are some friends of ours that have been playing it as well.
Yeah.
Like, we should try and play as a force sometime, because I bet it is fun with friends. Like the idea of being in the ship, you got one person steering. Oh no, there's a cannon hole in the ship. Quick, you go and use a bucket and throw the water out, and you go and repair the hole. Like, having different roles and stuff like that. I think the idea of it is very, very fun. But
yeah,
I just can't imagine the game being much fun. Like, it's great as sort of a boat simulator, like have some fun with your buds, roam the seas, shoot some other players. But like, I can't imagine the story itself, or like the quests or the progression being interesting.
No, I think the quests, I have a feeling that the quests merely are to get gold for then cosmetic items, cosmetic gun differences, ship differences, all that kind of thing. And so at that point, if we're going for a Fortnite-like direction where there's not really a story or anything, what is there compelling me to play this game every week over, say, Fortnite? And I mean, the game, it's fun, but it's just not as fun, as for example. But yeah. Also, it's going to need a very consistent user base to not mess up,
So ultimately, you think you might try it one more time, but that's about
try
it?
Try it one more time with you and friends. I want to try it with other people who maybe know what they're doing a little bit more. And then after that, probably regardless So whether I love it or hate it, probably not going to play it again unless they're like, oh, let's play Sea of Thieves.
I mean,
So,
if you love it, you will, right?
I mean, if I, yeah, sure, but I don't think I'm going to love it on my own.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I should try playing it on my own and see how going solo would work. But though that boat, even the small boats, seem very complicated to sail on your own.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like keeping the steering right and
to be fair, about 1 hour and a bit in, I do remember you saying to me, "Oh man, this is great," and I think you were just sailing at the time. I think.
Yeah, I like that feeling of just being at the helm and you know, Mahar. Yeah, I don't know, it just felt good.
All right, so
what was your ultimate review on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to pay for it. I wouldn't have wanted to pay a full retail price for it. My God, no, that's like what, £40, $70. I don't know. I wouldn't want to pay for that. But again, I want to say fun with friends, but then again, I feel like you can say that about most games. Unless
and in many ways, sometimes the worse they are, the funnier they are with friends.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Someone's saying, Toby, don't try solo. It's in solo, it's so much worse. So.
Yeah, I mean, I played briefly. So our main experience playing it was today for the 2.5 hours, but I played for like 30 minutes on my own a week ago, and it wasn't great. And it didn't help that I knew what I was doing even less then than I did when I was with you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, by the way. Can you hear my puppy barking?
Yeah, Rolo's learned to bark.
He's learned how to bark, and he's showing off the puppy.
How long's he been barking for?
A couple days. It's fine. It's fine.
And how often is he barking?
Only like first thing in the morning, but because my parents get up ridiculously early, they'll go out, and then he's just like, "Well, hang on, someone can play with me," and then I'm upstairs asleep, and I'm like, "Oh." Deal with this, and then now Mom's going to bed, and obviously we're streaming, and and he's like, "No, people play with me. I'm not done yet." So he's bless him.
Is he? I bet he's grown quite a lot actually since.
Yeah, he's gotten quite big actually, which is really upsetting because I mean he's still cute, but like he was really cute when he was small, and now he's like he's upscaled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, you went to Amsterdam last week.
I did. I went to VidCon. I didn't go anywhere near VidCon. That was my excuse for going. It was mostly to just see the sites, hang out with people. I met some of the lovely people who I see in the chat currently watching the stream. It was nice. It was a lot of fun. Different cultures are interesting because it's just I'm gonna live my life slightly differently for the next couple days. And trying to acclimatize to what is normal for other people, just in terms of like phrases and words they use. And with Amsterdam, the main thing is the traffic, like the pedestrian traffic. They cycle everywhere. It's pretty deadly, and like just an excessive amount of fast food, cheeses, that kind of thing, and just kind of adjusting to this is how other people live. Okay, I want to go home and be comfortable now. But no, it was nice. It was fun to go out, do that.
What was it specifically that you didn't like about Amsterdam?
Oh, it wasn't I didn't like it in any way. It's just after a couple days of getting nearly run over by bicycles a lot, and also not being so surrounded by fast food. And maybe it's because you notice it because the fast food is different. And so you're like, oh, what's that? I want to try that. I don't know. But I was like, how do people... I mean, obviously they cycle a lot, right? But I was like, the moment I just remember landing back in London and being like, oh, London, you're a sight for sore eyes. I love you. You're wonderful.
And you had an interesting experience with flying, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So I said on the last podcast that I was terrified about the idea of flying, that flying is heights is something I hate. And I did. I got on the plane. I was looking at the plane I was walking on, and I was having a little sort of mini, not panic attack, but I was there like, okay, right. Oh my God, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. And I sit down, and the guy is sitting next to me, and he reminded me of you and what you said about like being next to the person who clearly doesn't fly much, and you as a frequent flyer being like, oh my God, who is this kid? Sort of squeak every bit of time. I was looking at him at his episode of whatever he was watching that he downloaded, and I just thought, that's Dan in this situation. Sat next to me, and as we're taking off, he's watching me go. Yeah. okay, every little bit of turbulence. And then I'm like, okay. But actually, we got about 5 minutes into the sky, and I'm looking down at, the world, and I have never felt more amazed. And I don't want to sound like pretentious and I've never felt more amazed at like just how incredible humans are in that moment. I'm looking down. I'm in a box. I'm in a metal box in the sky that doesn't look like it should be able to support its own weight, traveling over large bodies of water. It's going to get me to this place in an hour. That's nuts. I'm looking down. I'm seeing boats that have been designed to travel on the sea, and there's wind turbines in the ocean between, the two places. And it's like people are surviving out on the water, just in between, just on boats. And then there's people are generating energy for all this stuff. The wing that I'm sat behind has been designed specifically to keep me in the air. And I was truly in awe. I haven't flown in about 8 years, and I was truly in awe just looking at it, like almost for the first time, like with fresh eyes, going, "This is so exciting. This is so nuts." And then thinking about you and the guy sat next to me who's just like, "This is so boring."
Yeah.
Just get me to my destination. While I was in Amsterdam, I was genuinely excited for the idea of flying back, because I was like, I get to go on a plane again. Like, the fear was just so gone. On the way back, I could see our university. I've got footage of Ravensbourne, and I could see the O2 Arena. And I'm above Greenwich, and I'm like, I used to live there. I used to go to uni there. That's nuts. That's so nuts. And I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, I wonder how many of my friends are like within my vision right now. And I just felt utterly ecstatic, and I'm super excited about the idea of flying to future places. I think also Amsterdam. You spend 40 minutes in the sky. I imagine the trips that you do to Asia.
Well, this is what I was gonna say next. Like, the guy that was sat next to you watching something that he downloaded.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm pretty next level compared to that, because when I flew to Amsterdam, I was like, I got on the plane, right? By the time we'd taken off, I'm like, well, there's really no point in me even getting my iPad out, and so I just sat there like. For the 30 minutes, because like when I fly for these long periods of time, then it's like, great, right, and get all my stuff out, get comfortable, got my phone there, headphones there, especially if the seat next to me is empty. That's the dream. Get really comfortable, get everything out all over the place, get settled in, right, okay, now I get watching. But like when it's like, okay, well, my bag's been at my feet for takeoff, and it's like I could lean down, get it out and everything. I don't know. It's like a 30-minute flight, and what I end up doing on those small flights is literally just like, because I've always got my headphones on. I just stick music on my phone, because a 30-minute flight just isn't even worth watching something to me.
But do you know what? Flights with music on the way back, I listened to like some of the Star Wars soundtrack, and it was so exciting being in the sky and listening to like the Millennium Falcon. And I'm just there in the sky, like landing, like this is the coolest thing ever. I'm genuinely, I've got a big old excitement for.
You should have listened to something like "Behold a Pale Horse" or something from.
Oh, I bet that'd be awesome. And it's the taking off and it's the landing, and it's just like it's. I've given over it. I hate roller coasters. Maybe that could change because it's just it's an instant. It's it's like a few moments and then the whole thing is over. Maybe if it's longer and I have that time to acclimatize to it and go, the plane 5 minutes into flying, I go, no, hang on, come on, this is fine. This has been built for my safety. We'll be okay. It's going to be okay.
Apparently they are far too safe as well, so I've heard. I was talking to someone who studied engineering or something, and apparently the way they are built, they are much, much, much safer than they need to be, apparently.
I mean,
which is good, right? Like, I prefer it to be that way.
Well, I suppose because air flights are so frequent, and yet none of them, they just don't crash. I mean, we were talking about it in the last 2 years. There's been like 3 commercial airline failures.
And they've all been in the last month. Isn't that great?
But, if that happens, every time that happens, that company, people cancel their flights and go, I don't want to fly with that company if that's the way their planes are made. So naturally, they're made, ultra secure. But it just got me so excited. It got me so excited on a very pretentious kind of level. Got me thinking about, am I going to fly into space in my lifetime? Like, is that the next one? Are we going to, when's SpaceX or Elon Musk going to make this available to me? Like, am I going to be able to travel to like New York in an hour? And like, just thinking, would I now want to do that? Having thought about it previously and gone, the sky is scary. But you're not in the sky. You're in the plane, and the plane has been made for you, and it's and for your safety. And it's just, I don't know, very exciting. Very exciting.
And the plane is still in the sky.
The plane is in the sky. That's true. That's true. But yeah, I don't know. It just all seemed utterly miraculous to me that we could even be there. And I'm sure many people who have been doing flights for the last 50 to 100 years, however long flying has been a thing, 200 years, I don't know, they're very over it by now. But
I'm glad you had a fun experience, though. I'm just going to look up how long my next flight's going to be, because I'm not.
You're heading out to
I can't say where I'm heading out to just yet, but
okay.
I'm gonna look up how long it's gonna take.
I definitely have no idea. You said somewhere, and I'm like, where's that? Yeah.
Flight time to X.
Oh man, super exciting. I did play some Celeste though while I was in the airport.
Are you kidding me? 17 hours, 45 minutes.
Oh, what do you do in that time?
Oh, I think that's with the change. Oh, I'm not gonna have to change, am I? That's the freaking worst. Okay. Anyway, carry on, Celeste.
You can't marvel at the amazement of the human race for 17 hours. Like that wears off. That wears off after takeoff.
Yeah, just you with your Star Wars music, like looking around, just on loop for 17 hours. I doubt it. Yeah.
Well, people were like, because I could feel like on the flying there, someone like looking at me, this guy just looking at me like. Oh. And I'm just there like, this is the greatest thing. And then,
there's got to be a direct one, right? Yeah. Just excuse me for the next hour of the podcast while I'm just Googling.
What are you looking up? 17 hours, that's nuts. I mean, airports
Scanner.
I think it seems more exciting because airports by comparison are horribly boring. They are these horribly just nasty, designed to be uncomfortable processes where they say like turn up 2 hours early. You don't need to. You don't need to. You turn up, you scan your passport, you show them that you take your hand luggage, show them that you're not a threat. Go on, cool. Now go wait for an hour and a half. What am I supposed to do for an hour and a half?
Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. There are direct flights to the location that I'm going. I've just checked Skyscanner. We're okay. We're talking 13 hours, 45 minutes, which is still going to be my longest flight, and then 14 hours back. But it's.
I mean, I wasn't panicking. I'm sorry, but I'm happy for you.
I really was.
I'm happy for you.
I really was panicking.
Still though, 12, 13 hours. I mean, what? How do you? I guess you just watch a bunch of movies.
So I'd spend a lot of it sleeping, especially. Yeah. So for me when I'm flying, the most important thing is having a window seat because literally, because I've got my little like head neck pillow thing as well, which I always take with me for the longer flights, but like. Being able to actually rest your head on something solid, even though it's bumping around because you're on a plane, like having the pillow that you've been given and also a neck pillow thing, I've actually been able to sleep quite well my last couple of flights. When I've not got a window seat, well, I'm screwed really because it's really, for me at least, it's really difficult to sleep in an aisle seat or especially a middle seat. But yeah, sure, I would just spend. I think my last flight, I spent pretty much all of my time awake watching Love, the series on Netflix.
Right.
Got Switch as well.
Scripting and yeah.
I'm in a weird position with my Switch at the moment because I bought Ukulele and think it's one of the worst life decisions I've ever made. The game is horrible. Man.
Yeah, you were saying on the last podcast.
You should try it at some point. It's not.
I'm not gonna. You haven't sold it to me.
The thing is, it's not even a bad game. It's just.
You've done such a horrible job of selling it to me. I think I'll give it a miss, buddy.
It's just Mario Odyssey was so good, right? And then so you play Mario Odyssey, and you're like, this game was so much fun. There have to be more games like this. And then you play Ukulele, and it's like,
this isn't anything like that.
This was released in the same year as Mario Odyssey. Like, what?
It says a lot about the quality of Nintendo games, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's so like I don't even know. Ukulele just puts you on this map, and you're just sort of on this huge map, and it's like go, and I don't really have any interest in exploring this place. I can't even explain it, right? Like Mario Odyssey, you want to explore everything. You want to see everything
Every corner,
the game
every
has
different
to throw at you. You want to test all of the enemies you can possess, and you want to collect as many coins and moons as you can.
Yeah.
You really actually actively want to do that.
Want to do those things.
And I don't know what the key ingredient is that causes that, but there is something there, and Ukulele don't have it.
Don't got it. But speaking of that though, I want to backtrack. Celeste. I'm playing a lot of Celeste. I'm now a little bit further than you are. I like that we're like doing our little Celeste check-ins every week with this podcast.
Well, for me, it won't be. I doubt I'll play again until I'm off on a flight again.
I'm now at a point where I'm like going back and revisiting older levels because it's really easy to go back and check out where the strawberries are. But whilst I was there, I was hanging out with a guy called Thief Bug. Is his name online? A guy called Ricky. He's a Legend of Zelda speedrunner, renownedly good with these kinds of games. And I gave him my Switch and said, "Oh, hey, you should check out this Celeste game." I made him a file, because we were finishing off the third level of the hotel, and he was watching me. I was like, "Well, look, you can't play my file, like, obviously. You can play a file." And then literally, I'm on my phone for about an hour, and I'm hearing the noises of the level I just did an hour ago, and I'm like, have you caught up? And then his file was further ahead in about an hour and a half than mine had been in 2.5 hours of gameplay spread out over the course of several weeks. He had more strawberries, like 3 times fewer deaths, and I was just like so gutted. I was genuinely devastated. But I've got further now, but certainly didn't do it in as few tries.
So, an interesting point, I think, about Celeste, and because I feel like that is a game, like when I'm playing, I want to explore that game.
Yeah.
But I don't want to explore Ukulele, and I really wonder if there's something to pixel art. Because like people still make new pixel art games. I guess in theory, Undertale is a pixel art game, and there's another newish Switch one which I haven't played but looks pretty good. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's meant to be a little bit like a Zelda game. But like, I feel like a world that's drawn in like pixels. For some reason, I want to explore it, and I don't know why. Is that a nostalgia thing, or is there actually something to them? Like actually. I don't know. Maybe it's a nostalgia thing. Maybe it's, at this point, the style of the game has already been perfected over, years and years and years of doing it, ever since, the days of Mario or whatever. To now where it's pure, the development is purely on gameplay, and so they just make interesting, good games. Maybe? Like, when a game is too... Okay, so something that does not put me off games, but something which I think does hurt games is when they're too detailed.
Yeah.
Because, like, when a game's too realistic and too detailed, every house can seem the same, and every area can see the same, and just be the same old thing. Mm-hmm. But, like, when what you're looking at is quite a simple image, but each area is unique, it's very memorable. Like, if you showed me a location in, again, Undertale, for example, I could probably tell you exactly what I did in that area. Like, if you just showed me one screen, for example, I could tell you, like, what NPC I spoke to in that screen, or what story part happened in that screen. And, like, I don't know why, but more modern looking games don't necessarily have that.
Yeah. I think often when it's simpler, when something's out of place or odd, kind of like with Mario, which is, it's not hyper detailed, it's polished for the style that it is. But when something looks out of place, you want to investigate it or know what's different, and it allows those chapters to kind of stand out to you, I guess. Also, they just age better. Like, anything that's stylized ages better. Zelda the Wind Waker used to be the prime example of that, but now it's going to be things like Mario Odyssey, and it's going to be things like Undertale. Undertale is purposely aged down in style. It looks like a game that, could have come out sort of like 10, 15 years ago. And because of that, no one's criticizing the graphics and going, oh, yeah. Whereas sadly, even fantastic games like, say, The Last of Us, eventually they're gonna look like trash because by modern standards then, it's just gonna look like, I don't know what it's gonna look. I don't know what the future of it's gonna look like, but it's not gonna look the same.
I just exploring a pixely map. I don't know. There's something cool about it.
I think it also reminds you this is a game, and you almost immediately have more fun with it because it is a game, as opposed to this is art. Right? It's that difference between going to the cinema to see an art piece and going to the cinema to see Shooty Shooty Bang Bang, Shooty Shooty Pow Pow, or Jurassic Park or something.
Shooty
It's the
Shooty Bang
difference.
Bang. We're back there.
Is my brain up for just fun today, or is my brain up for like art today?
Yeah, I don't know, but Celeste is very, very good. For that reason, among other reasons. Oh, sorry, right. Shooty Shooty Zap Zap. We got it wrong.
I titled the podcast episode of the last podcast incorrectly then. See, I don't even remember my own phrases. I'm a fake. A fake!
You are a fake. You're not even the real bird keeper, Toby.
What have I done with him? He went to Amsterdam and he came back different. Shooty Shooty Zap Zap. Yeah, that's right. That sounds right.
You should go and rename the last week's podcast episode.
What have you been up to over this last week? Because you've surprisingly not been traveling.
So, yeah, I mean, you asked me when you got back from Amsterdam, what have you been up to? And I guess quite depressingly, my answer was, not much. Because genuinely, like, that's the thing, though. So last week, the podcast last week was Tuesday, right?
Yes.
And I got back Monday. So I'd literally just gotten back really from traveling, and since then I've been chilling and I've been loving it, but I've not really been doing anything. I've played a lot of Fortnite, I've played a lot of Dragon Ball Z. New DLC came out for Dragon Ball Z today. I've not had a chance to play it yet, but 2 new characters were released and I'm very excited to try them out and see what they're all about.
Sounds like you just had a solid week off just recharging the batteries. That sounds like blissful.
Yeah, pretty much. I had a really bad driving lesson last Thursday. So my recovery from jet lag last week was really odd because like the first day I seemed fine. Like I went to sleep pretty much when I got in at 10 and I woke up at like 10 in the morning, I think. I had 12 hours. It was great. But then the second night, the night of the podcast, I didn't get to sleep until about 2 and I didn't wake up until like 2 in the afternoon. And that was Tuesday night. That's right. Then Wednesday night, I got to sleep at 2 again. My driving lesson was scheduled for 10. I got to sleep at 2 in the morning and I woke up at 6 in the morning and I could not get back to sleep. And so I had this driving lesson and I was very, very tired and very, very jet lagged and I made a lot of mistakes. And it was all quite embarrassing. Like I didn't learn anything new. I just made loads of mistakes of things that I knew.
And your instructor just thought, what the hell is wrong with you?
It was just a disaster. Well, he knew I was jet lagged and like we just, it was very, very embarrassing. I had another driving lesson today. It was much better.
Much better?
But yeah, okay. It was pretty bad. Lesson learned was that I'm now not going to book any driving lessons for the week I get back from Asia, ever. What else have I been up to? I got a new laptop. That's exciting. I don't want to talk too much about my old laptop, but I got a new laptop a few weeks ago and it wasn't very good and I've sent it back. There are a bunch of things wrong with it. But
it looks pretty.
It did look very pretty. If you trawl through my Twitter, you'll find it, but I don't want to like actively badmouth the company that made it.
Sure.
Because of reasons. But I got a new one. It's an Asus.
Asus.
Is it Asus or Asus? I think it's Asus.
Asus. I think it's Asus.
But I think you're wrong.
I'll fight you on that.
And it's here. Here we are.
Cool.
Oh, can I webcam placement?
I mean, I can't actually see you, Dan. So.
Wow!
Ooh.
Your timing is good. You can look on the stream.
No way.
It's very, very thin because the whole point of I had an Asus laptop. I had an Asus Republic of Gamers laptop before, and it was very big and very bulky and really good. It's still great now. I've had it for like 2.5 years. It still plays anything pretty much on highest settings.
Yeah.
But it's too big and bulky for me to really carry around to like different parts of the world with me. So I wanted to get a new laptop that I could easily carry around to different parts of the world with me. This is super thin. It's very, very, very classy, very nice, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It only came yesterday. So I've still got a lot of testing to do.
I'm now seeing it on the stream, and like, yeah, it looks good.
Got a lot of testing to do to make sure it's worth the money that was spent on it. But yeah, I'm certainly happy with it so far.
No, that's good. That's good. I'll get to see it in the human person tomorrow, because of course we're hanging out. We're gonna probably play some video games.
Oh, shoot.
I imagine.
Are we doing that tomorrow? Oh yeah. Okay.
We're
cool.
hanging out tomorrow. I got you. I got.
That's fine with me.
Oh. I got written in. I got Dan. I got it circled. Like, this is the day I'm looking forward to the most.
I wonder if we'll be able to play Fortnite then, like with you on your actual account. We'll have to. I guess worst case, you can just play on my Xbox actually.
In the next room, just like
no.
That's good.
No. Like you just play it on the same monitor that you usually play on. Yeah.
Weirdly, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Weirdly, that's now probably the easiest way to do it.
God, the lengths we'll go through to play Fortnite together.
I know. I've been invited to something tomorrow. Night, but I'm not sure if I can go. Which is there's a special bar that I really like in London called the Loading Bar.
Yeah.
And they serve gamer cocktails and things, and they are opening up another branch of it. And the opening is tomorrow, and I've been invited along. I don't think I'm going to be able to. To make it. It seems like a lot of travel for a very cool bar, but I'm not a Londoner. It seems like a lot to get there and do that, but yeah.
We've got a lot of like friends that hang out in places pretty far away from us at the moment.
I know. Well, we've got a whole other thing going on that we could go to.
And it kind of sucks because like I personally I'm up for hanging out with people whenever. Yeah. But if it was in like our local town, like if I could get there in like
if it's like 5 minutes, like let's go, let's do it.
10-minute cab or whatever. But
yeah.
if it's like an hour and a half away by car,
are
we lazy guys for not doing it, or is that reasonable? Not wanting to travel?
It's awful. I mean, it's interesting because everyone else sort of grew up and flew the nest, and like we flew the nest right away and then came back and just went, we can just work from home, and everyone else flew the nest and they stayed out there, and we're like, wait, you guys aren't coming back also? Okay, bye everyone.
But eventually, and I don't know when yet. I can't help you out there. But eventually, I will be able to drive, and then we can drive to places.
Just as long as it's not when you're just back from Asia or whatever.
I can be your personal chauffeur, and we can drive to places.
That'll be so exciting,
and that'll be fun.
That'd be good. And then eventually I should probably learn to drive. But I'm so worried about the idea of running someone over. But then, you know what? A week ago, I was worried about going in the sky, and now it's a blast. So who knows? Yeah. Anything is possible.
You realize that at some point, I'm not going to tell you that I passed my test. At some point, I'm just going to show up at your house with a car and be like, hey, Toby, hop in.
You're going to tell me you passed your test. And do you know why? Because you want the same thing everyone wants when they pass their driving test. A Facebook status with 100 likes. A Facebook status with 100 likes. That's what you want. Everyone wants one. And that's how you get one. It's either that or a baby photo, like a sonogram. Those are the two situations where you make a post and it's guaranteed 100 likes.
What about a we got engaged status?
Those are the worst. Yeah, those as well. I mean, they're great. I'm happy for people.
What about in the future when you get a Facebook account and like you put like you get a Facebook account straight away as soon as you're born and you've got a status saying was just born. Lol.
Was just born. Lol. Lol. Oh! I tell you what, we've got about a couple more minutes left of this podcast. Yeah. There's something else I wanted. I told you about it, but we can have a conversation about it. I did do one other thing when I was in Amsterdam. I saw The Room. The movie The Room. And I immediately then watched the other movie, The Disaster Artist, right after it, which is a movie about the making of The Room. And wow, It's so incredibly interesting in so many ways. I'm assuming anyone listening has heard of The Room and has heard of what it's about, but it's essentially a terrible film that is hilarious because it's bad. It's not even about whether your taste is like, oh, would it be my taste of humor? Like, it's everyone's humor because it was never trying to be funny. It was trying to be a serious film. And yeah, I've just got to quickly shout this film out. If you haven't seen The Room, watch The Room, tweet me, and let me know your thoughts. It's so weird. It's so weird, Dan. Please watch it. Can we watch it together at some point? I will show you The Room. It's worth the 90 minutes that you put into it. Watch it with,
Sure.
Or watch it in your downtime.
Sure.
It's worth it.
Actually, speaking of watching things, there's so much on at the moment that I'm watching.
Uh-huh.
I just watched because I'm still going through Game of Thrones very slowly. I don't believe we've ever talked about Game of Thrones on this podcast, by the way.
Oh, we'll get to that in time, I'm sure.
There'll probably be an episode dedicated to it at some point. But we just watched, I think, episode 8. So the next one is the big one of season 1. And there's been, like, me and my family and Katie I've been watching Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway every weekend as well, but that's been a disaster now because things that have happened in the UK. And there's also Series of Unfortunate Events, which is out in 2 days, which I'm very excited about.
You saw the trailer for that? Did I link you? I did. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
And one that I'm potentially most excited about, something that's broadcasting today, and the first episode will be on Netflix tomorrow, and that's Suits Season 7 Part 2. Yeah.
Suits is today? Can I watch it? When is it streaming? When is it live? Can we watch it?
Tomorrow. It should be on Netflix tomorrow, yeah.
And then it's going to be out every week?
I mean, honestly, my parents are expecting me to watch it with them. Katie's expecting me to watch it with her. I'm literally, as soon as I see it on Netflix, no one's stopping me. I'm watching that.
Yeah. And then wait, hang on. So Suits was one of your recommendations on Netflix to me. Such good recommendation. Human people, if you need something to binge on Netflix, watch Suits. It's so great. Once Suits is done, so Suits tomorrow, and then Series of Unfortunate Events the next day?
Yeah. 30th, yeah. Yeah, the next day.
Yeah, man, that's...
Sadly, Suits isn't going to be out, like, they're not releasing all 6 episodes at once. It's going to be 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get used to watching one and then waiting a week and then...
I should try and finish Jessica Jones then before tonight. Essentially, I should try and finish Jessica Jones.
I don't even know why I love Suits so much, but I really, really love that show.
Me neither. Do you know what? Suits follows the trend of a whole bunch of shows that I think we both really enjoy, like Sherlock, House, which is basically arsehole smart character is better than everyone else. Let's watch them be arsehole smart character.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones, Littlefinger.
Yeah, and that's why we enjoy watching it. We just enjoy this kind of...
Walter White. I
mean, Suits is the Sherlock of the thingy world, of the lawyer world.
Soap world? Oh, okay.
of the lawyer world, of the Suits world. He's the Sherlock. And then,
You mean Mike Ross's?
Mike Ross. I guess
you said Suits is the Sherlock. That doesn't make
Suits is the Sherlock. Mike. Well, actually, I was thinking Harvey, but yeah. Well, Mike and Harvey. I guess they're a duo.
Well, Mike's the guy that's got the... Oh, man. That reminds me. One last comment about TV. So, okay. So, again, Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. I love the show. Find it very, very entertaining, very lighthearted. Now, they have this segment now every week called... Saturday Night spelt with a K takeaway. And it's where, like, someone's been kidnapped, and it's like a little mini series. Each episode is 5 to 10 minutes, and it's like Ant and Dec interacting with a bunch of other ITV celebrities, and it's all very funny and lighthearted. And like last year, it was trying to find where the crown jewels were stolen. And anyways, I don't remember exactly what happened this week, which led up to this, but Dec just started going like this with his hands next to his head, like shaking his head around. And the person they were speaking to was like, "Why? What's he doing?" And Ant said, "Oh, don't worry, he's just going to his mind palace." And then, the background went funny, and then words started coming up on the screen, and Dec was like, shirt untied, like tucked, and just basically doing the Sherlock thing. And it was
Great.
very, very funny. Like, I don't usually find that part of the show very entertaining because it's a little bit too cheesy, corny, like child friendly for me. But my God, that had me in hysterics just because of how just how much of a rip off of Sherlock it was. It was great.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Anyways, we're probably about done.
I think that's about it for the main podcast. So if you are listening to this on demand, we stream live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. BST. I am Birdkeeper Toby, and that's where you can find me on Twitter and all my other social handles.
I am Falcon with an EHS, Falcon EHS on Twitter. You can find me there.
And with that, let's jump into the post show.